Mark and Sarah had been inseparable for years, bound by love and an unwavering commitment to building a family. After tying the knot, Mark felt a deep, unexplainable longing for a child of his own. Adoption had been considered, but the couple yearned for a biological connection, leading them down a path of medical consultations. Every option seemed out of reach, leaving them disheartened until something remarkable happened. One fateful day, Mark made an announcement that would shock the world. He was pregnant. Despite the impossible odds, Mark had somehow conceived. This miraculous event garnered widespread attention, but with it came immense challenges. The uniqueness of his pregnancy created a hurdle that no one saw coming. No doctor was willing to take the risk of delivering the baby. The potential dangers were unknown, and the medical community was unprepared for such an unprecedented case. Determined not to give up, Mark and Sarah scoured the country, looking for a doctor brave enough to take on the challenge. After months of searching, they found hope in California. A renowned doctor in San Francisco agreed to monitor Mark's pregnancy, and the couple relocated with renewed optimism. For a time, things went smoothly, with Mark's body adapting to the process in ways that baffled and fascinated medical experts. As the pregnancy progressed, excitement grew. Mark and Sarah prepared their home, eager to welcome their baby boy. But on the day of the birth, something astonishing happened, something no one could have predicted. What the doctor discovered left everyone in awe. Mark had not only carried one child, he was about to give birth to twins. Hidden from all the prenatal scans and tests, a second baby had developed, completely undetected. The medical team scrambled, but with expert care, both babies were safely delivered. Mark and Sarah were left in tears of joy, overwhelmed by the miracle that had just unfolded. As the cries of the newborn twins echoed through the delivery room, Mark and Sarah were overcome with emotions. For months, they had prepared to welcome one child into their lives, but now, the reality of having two precious babies, twins, was almost too much to process. Mark, exhausted but euphoric, held both babies close as tears of relief streamed down his face. The medical team was still in awe, murmuring about the miraculous nature of what they had just witnessed. It was a moment that defied science and everything the doctors had learned about human biology. The doctor, still in disbelief, explained what had happened. "It's incredibly rare," he said, his voice filled with amazement. "Throughout your pregnancy, all the scans only showed one baby. We missed it entirely. Your body, well, it's adapted in ways we never thought possible. You've rewritten what we thought we knew about pregnancy." Mark and Sarah were speechless. Holding their twins, they realized that what they had been through wasn't just a medical miracle, it was something that would change the way people viewed parenthood forever. As news spread, the world was once again captivated by Mark's story. Media outlets, scientific journals, and medical experts wanted to know how this could have happened. How had Mark, a man, not only carried a baby but twins? What was the biological explanation for this? Doctors from around the world debated and studied his case, but none of them could provide definitive answers. It was as if Mark's pregnancy defied logic, an anomaly that would be talked about for years to come. Despite the attention, Mark and Sarah's focus remained on their family. They named their twins Noah and Eli, two perfect little boys who had already become symbols of hope and wonder. Over time, Mark's pregnancy opened doors to new research in medicine, challenging old beliefs about gender and reproduction. He became an advocate for others who didn't fit traditional norms, speaking about his experience at conferences and inspiring people to embrace the possibilities that lie beyond what's considered normal. Yet, for Mark and Sarah, the most important thing wasn't the fame or the groundbreaking medical conversations. They were simply overjoyed to be parents. Their journey had been filled with uncertainty, fear, and unimaginable challenges, but in the end, they had everything they'd ever dreamed of, a family. And in that, they found all the happiness they could have ever hoped for. The story of Mark's pregnancy became a legend of sorts, told not just for its scientific curiosity, but for the message it carried, that love, determination, and the will to build a family can defy the odds in the most incredible ways. As Mark and Sarah watched their twins grow, they often reflected on the path that had brought them here. And every time they looked at their children, they were reminded of the power of miracles and the extraordinary potential of the human spirit. As the months passed, life for Mark, Sarah, and their twins, Noah and Eli, began to settle into a new normal. Parenting was no small feat. Mark and Sarah spent sleepless nights feeding, changing, and soothing their babies, just like any new parents. But amidst the chaos of diapers and bottles, they felt a profound sense of joy and gratitude for their little miracles. Meanwhile, the world's fascination with Mark's pregnancy continued to grow. Scientists, sociologists, and medical professionals were eager to study and understand the unprecedented biological process. Mark's case became the subject of medical research papers, with top doctors and geneticists flying in from around the globe to study the unique ways his body had adapted. It wasn't just about the fact that he had carried children, it was about how his body had created the conditions to do so. This breakthrough opened up endless questions about the limits of human biology, reproduction, and gender. However, despite the intense interest from the scientific community, Mark and Sarah remained fiercely protective of their privacy. They were careful about how much of their story they shared with the public. Mark gave interviews sparingly, often turning down opportunities to appear on talk shows or documentaries. He wanted to control the narrative and ensure that their children would grow up in as normal an environment as possible. But even with this careful approach, they couldn't escape the limelight entirely. Mark's pregnancy became a symbol for many challenging, long-held beliefs about gender, family, and biology. Advocacy groups championed Mark's story as evidence of the fluidity of human identity, using it to push for greater acceptance of transgender and non-binary people. Mark's pregnancy wasn't just a medical miracle, it became a powerful cultural moment. One evening, as Mark and Sarah sat on the couch with their boys sleeping peacefully in their cribs, they reflected on how far they'd come. They talked about the whirlwind of attention their story had received and how it had inspired people from all walks of life. They had received letters from around the world, some from people in awe of their journey, others from parents who felt encouraged by their story. But the most touching messages came from those who had struggled with feeling different their whole lives. Mark's pregnancy had given them hope, showing that extraordinary things were possible, even when the world told them otherwise. Despite the overwhelming public interest, Mark and Sarah tried to lead as ordinary a life as possible. They took Noah and Eli to the park, hosted playdates, and joined local parent groups. To their friends and neighbors, they were just another loving family raising two energetic boys. But for Mark and Sarah, every day with their twins was a reminder of the incredible journey they had taken to become parents. As Noah and Eli grew, Mark and Sarah wondered how to tell them the story of their birth. How could they explain the unique circumstances of their arrival into the world? When the boys turned 5, they decided the time was right. Sitting down together, Mark and Sarah gently shared the tale of how their family came to be, how they had wanted children more than anything, and how Mark had carried them both. Noah and Eli listened with wide eyes, taking in the story of love, courage, and the incredible lengths their parents had gone to so they could be together. The twins asked many questions, but they took the story in stride. To them, it was just another part of their family history. What mattered most to Noah and Eli was the love they felt every day, not just from their parents, but from the world that had celebrated their arrival. As the years passed, Mark and Sarah remained dedicated to their family, creating a home filled with love, adventure, and laughter. The story of Mark's pregnancy had become a piece of history, but for the couple, the real miracle was the everyday moments they shared with their boys. Noah and Eli grew up knowing their birth was special, but they also understood that what made their family extraordinary wasn't just the way they came into the world, it was the bond of love that held them together. And as they grew older, they came to realize that the greatest miracle of all was the simple fact that they were a family, united by the courage, hope, and love that had brought them into existence. Mark's story would go down in history, a tale of resilience, of defying the odds, and of the boundless possibilities that life can offer when love and determination meet. For Mark, Sarah, Noah, and Eli, their journey was proof that even in a world filled with uncertainty, extraordinary things can happen, especially when they're driven by love. This brings the story full circle, focusing on how the family's life unfolds after the birth, the impact on society, and the emotional and personal aspects of raising their children. Would you like to add more details or explore a specific aspect of the story further?